in the bright daylight, voices twisted, feeding us the blight, telling stories that were never true. We fight to break on through. Lies are woven like a velvet chain, slick with power driving us insane. But the fire burns deep within our chests. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we make our mark. They call us rebels, say we've lost our way, but freedom's blood, it fuels the fray. From the ashes comes a brighter light. We fight with all our might. See resolve in the roaring storm, breaking cages will rewrite the norm. No more silence, no more disguise. We fight with open eyes. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we make our mark. We make our mark.
Regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there's been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today. Regarding the ongoing situation in Iran.
Whew. Sorry, I couldn't hear it on my end, guys. That's why I repeated the video, but apparently it was working. What's going on, guys? You hear what she said? Trump deal making again. Unbelievable. The man just keeps on proving himself over and over again, keeping his word. Everybody's freaking out. And meanwhile, Trump just keeps doing Trump things and being exactly what we voted for. Listen, welcome to the Ace Report. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. Sorry, a little bit late tonight. That's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes life happens. But ready to go. Got lots to talk about. We got a wild weekend ahead of us based on some more stuff I'm going to be showing you guys. And get ready. It could be very interesting. But Iran, Israel, it's going to work out. I have great hopes, but I'm going to break it down for you with everything that is up to date with what's going on with Trump. And hey, listen, if you guys been watching the show, we've been right. We've been right ahead of the curve. We're the ones who been telling everybody, don't freak out. Trump's got this. He's going to make good decisions. And it's just good. It's good to be validated by our trust in this incredible man. And some of the stuff I'm going to show you guys tonight, some of the effects of his decisions over the course of the last 5 months, man, it's very impressive how things are improving in our country and going to continue improving over the next 3.5 years. But first, Let me say, let's say hey to some peeps. US one, numero uno tonight. What's up, buddy? Wago Waco, what's up? Peter Joy, you're here, buddy. You made it. BN Pro, Fro Girl, Girth Mike, JC Cool, Cat Sink, Toe Cramp, Hobbs, Troy Man, Darren Collins, Joe Scarpaggia, Steve Bernard, Stony Bones, Scott Volkovich, Vince Feliz, Randy Atwell, Don Dudo, Kathy, Roger, Connie Liv, Akira, Just Mike. This is like a who's who of all the old schoolers in this place. Kim Wiley, Husker Power, Candace, what's going on? Your weekend started early, Roger. That's nice. Go fish, baby. Patrice, Alan Krentz. What's up, my friend? Country's in the house. Here at large. Mark R. Let's see. Patrice says, I'm seeing more and more stories coming out on X revealing a lot of things. Do you reckon this is part of it? Depends what you're talking about. But yeah, there's a lot going on. Can we get some rate cuts? No, not from Powell because he hates Trump. I listened to Daniel DiMartino and what's his face? Charles on Fox, the guy we all like. I can't remember his last name. Anyways, watching them on Fox the other day, and they were saying that at this point, it's so obvious what Powell's doing is political, and him just not raising rates right now is just mean. It's just mean to the peeps of the America. As Tropic over there on Rumble, what's going on? Sazasso and Lochtefeld. How you doing, guys? Good to see you. Rumble crowd is growing. Love it. Charlie Payne, that's it. Thank you so much. You're happier than a penguin with a personal eyesight. Well, there you go. JR, I got it. I got your girl on tonight. Lil Carolyn. And guess what? I got one more for you in just a second. So you can fall in love all over again. That's what we do. Uncle Andy says, I'm prone to freaking out and despairing. That's why I'm here. Get back on the level. Well, that's what I'm here for, guys. Get you back on the level. Speaking of on the level, very few people are on the level as much as Miss Carolyn Levitt. Let's see what she has to say. She's breaking down Trump's deal and making with Iran, and this is what she had to say about what could be coming today.
The president is always interested in a diplomatic solution to the problems and the global conflicts in this world. Again, he is a peacemaker in chief. He is the peace through strength president. And so if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it. But he's not afraid to use strength as well, I will add. Francesca.
Thanks, Caroline. What exactly would a deal with Iran need to entail?
No enrichment of a uranium, and it would absolutely not. Iran is absolutely not able to achieve a nuclear weapon. The president has been very clear about that. And by the way, the deal that Special Envoy Witkoff proposed to the Iranians was both realistic and acceptable within its terms, and that's why the president is sent that deal to them. The president.
JR, you should be very proud. More Caroline. Is that like more cowbell? More Caroline. Jerry, you should be very proud. She handles herself very well up there, looking strong. Be proud of your fake love someday. On top of that, so there's it's pretty clear Trump's trying to get a deal done instead of go in. Here's some more info on that, and this is a great little clip on from Bannon today. So check this out.
It wasn't totally definitive. He's looked at a range of alternatives on the military side. You've been there and seen, the Pete Hegseths and the Marco Rubios and the John Ratcliffes. He's got his top national security people in and out all day long, right? What's your interpretation of this 2-week delay?
I think, it's a president who wants to make a deal foremost, right? That's always his thing. And more so because the military leadership at the Pentagon is somewhat split. You have two real forces here in the Situation Room. You have kind of the Pete Hegseths and the General Keynes, who's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, who kind of looking at a more restrained package if there is a military involvement. And then you have the General Kurillas of the world, who is, going to be retiring in 2 weeks and has been very involved.
But hang on. Posobiec, he came in and walked in. I want to describe to our audience, one of the most powerful institutions in this town is CENTCOM. The difference between Kurilla, this is critical. I want you to repeat that because CENTCOM is a thing in and of itself. Obama tried to pivot to Asia and couldn't do it because of the power of CENTCOM. CENTCOM will be, ladies and gentlemen, Central Command. It is really where the Middle East is, and he's a combatant commander. And right now, with the structure, post what Sam Nunn's restructuring, when I was in the service, the Chief of Naval Operations, the Army Chief of Staff, they were the kingpins. They're really now to build the overall military and to guide it. The combatant commanders are like gods on earth, right? These are warlords. Kurilla is CENTCOM, and he is enormously aggressive here, is he not? And you have the Pentagon with really raising Cain and Hegseth that is actually more restrained than the combatant commander. Is that basically a correct assessment?
I would say so. And throw in the other wrinkle, right? 2 weeks is actually really critical in this conversation because General Kurilla is set to retire as the chief of CENTCOM in about 2.5 weeks. So when you have that thrown into play...
You don't think that time is coincidental then?
Well, maybe it's coincidental, maybe it's not. Trump likes to say 2 weeks to a lot of things, so you've got to bear that in mind. But it is interesting to me that if you think about the window of time that is available now to the Iranians to potentially have a deal or to start negotiating with Trump or Wickoff or whoever, it brings you towards the end of Kurilla's tenure when he's maybe got days left in the job. And I don't know. I have to think that weighs into, Trump's calculus because, the biggest guy pushing to strike Iran is going to be General Kurilla, the gorilla, right? That is his nickname. He's had Iran in his sights for a long time. And, I have to think that weighs on the president as well.
Jack?
Politics, politics, politics. We got neocons fighting with the Trump people. Hegseth, kudos to him, man. I imagine Hegseth, Gabbard, I saw J.D. Vance in another report. They're all saying, chill, we're going to be okay. But CENTCOM, Central Command in the Middle Eastern area, the main general over there, Kurilla, he wants Iran. And that's where all this is coming from, which is very interesting to me because all those reports that Trump was going to blast up Iran were coming from Israel, which is right in that area. Makes me wonder how many of those were planted stories, maybe by our own general. And we're getting so many mixed reports here. So Carolyn Levitt, your girl, JR, she today said that obviously straight from Trump, okay, 2 weeks, we're working out a deal. We might have a deal and it lines up with this guy. So you get that. Then we're seeing stuff like this. So Seymour Hersh, famous writer, okay, famous reporter. He says, reported today in his Substack that Trump has given the go-ahead to bomb Iran this weekend. And he wants to do it Friday night or Saturday morning in order to not make the market freak out too bad on Monday. In other words, give the market a couple days to absorb the shock. Very interesting. Seymour Hersh is 88 now. He doesn't have the record he used to have, but he is long considered to be one of the best political writers ever in America, if not the best. So for him to come out with a story like that, it means his sources, he's got some sources saying something. Is it a plant? We have this report right here. The E-4B doomsday plane designed to withstand nuclear blast made unexpected flight to D.C. Why? U.S. has 2 Navy destroyers in the Mediterranean, USS Sullivans and U.S. Thomas Hudner in the South Carrier Strike Group, U.S. Carl Vinson just the coast of Iran, super carrier forward on the way, tactical B-2 bombers seeing movement. Why? There's Jesse. So to me, it's all preparation because you don't know what could happen. All right. Trump doesn't know. He was like, I'm taking the patient route. I'm giving Israel a chance to do more on their own. Bibi came out today, said we don't need the Americans to finish this. Interesting. There's so many psyops going on here. But what I think is really happening is Trump is pushing it off. In fact, what gives me hope in that is that he has waited this long despite the constant pushing from everybody. In fact, we have, who is it today? Where is it? Yeah, right here. Rich Barris today says, no matter what happens, no president would have been able to stand up to this pressure and show the restraint Donald Trump has shown up until this point. He listens, and not just to clinical sociopaths who pretend to be experts. That is what gives me hope, guys. And again, we might ultimately make the decision to bomb Fordro. We might. We might do bunker busters because we're the only ones who have them. Or we might let the Israelis take them, but they'll still need our B-2 bombers. I don't think we let them fly them. So it might happen. It might happen a joint venture with, but it's going to be tactical. It's going to get in and out. I see no way that this becomes elongated. And this is where several people are going to be eating crow. Several people. We got Dave Smith out there, Alex Jones, the Hodge twins, so many out there saying that Trump had lost it. Luke Rudkowski, all these influencers with huge audiences just blasting Trump as if he'd already gone to war. And it's amazing because he hasn't dropped a bomb yet. And this, again, just like Rich Barris, who's honestly the best pollster out there, knows the pulse of Washington, D.C., knows the history of all these presidents, has lots of connections. And even he's out there saying no president ever been able to do this. So it's a very impressive. And it makes me feel like we're going to get through this okay. No problem. Kasink says Nancy Mace was on PBD today, and the argument was an American was going to fly the plane that drops the bomb. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what they're saying. If there is going to be a bomb, it'll be an American that flies it for sure, because that's the only way they can bunker blast Fordro, which is where the deepest nuclear facilities are for Iran, under 80 to 100 meters of mountain. Roger says you got to have some love to Kristi Noem too. She ordered the border wall to be built without regard to environmental restrictions. Oh yeah, I saw that yesterday. It was excellent. Big JR reminds everybody, like and subscribe to beat the shadow banning algorithms, especially on YouTube, but everywhere else. I appreciate it too. Like, subscribe, share. Greatly appreciating, guys. Very much so. Did I see Rudy Giuliani's tweet today about relaxing in Dubai before the storm? No, I did not. I'll have to pull that up. Roger says the weather forecast for Tehran says Monday is going to be 1,400 degrees. 1,400? What? That's, I didn't see that. Are you serious? That's hilarious. Which one are you looking at? Tokram says, trust Trump, not blind trust. He's proven himself. I completely agree. Bunker bus, Maxine Watch. JR, that's nasty. Kim Wiley, President Trump excels at show of force. He does. He excels at the art of the deal. Okay. Alan says, didn't I say a week? The Nimitz isn't there yet. Arrival next week, Tuesday through Thursday from China Sea. You did, Alan, and you're still on your timeline. But again, it seems to me, and if Trump is going to bomb, this 2 weeks in that the general having the that general having his retirement line up with Trump's deadline, there's no way that's coincidental, because CENTCOM is too much of a big deal. Just like Bannon said, it runs the town basically, right? It's one of the main factors in Washington. So that timing lining up with his retirement, it's got to be one of two things. A, Trump really doesn't want to go through with this, and so he's letting the guy just go, and then it'll change negotiations going forward or something to that effect. Or he's waiting till the guy's gone so he can drop the bomb then, but also trust that a new general, one less war hungry with Iran, is gone. That's the other option. Okay. So that's how I see it. And I also believe that 2 weeks matters. I don't think Trump, now I could be wrong because we've done this before, but Trump always has in my opinion, I feel like I've always seen him stick to his deadlines. A lot of people are saying, did he just set Iran up to think they're good for 2 weeks and then drop on them? I don't see that being the case. Trump didn't do that with the 60 days. He's had several deadlines before that he didn't break. So I don't think he'll break that. Now, they did have some interested language. He didn't say like 2 weeks for sure. It's like within 2 weeks. So I guess he could get around it. But I don't know. I think he'll hold to the 2 weeks. But then again, I could be proven wrong tomorrow, and we'll find out. And that's okay, because the main thing is that everybody was worried about is, will this get us into another never-ending war? And the answer to that is no. Trump, I believe one of the reasons he's waiting is he wants to see what Israel can do without us helping. And he wants to see if this can all be done without us getting involved. So that's number one. B, I believe that he's, if they do strike, he's making sure that everything is figured out so that we don't get stuck. And I think those are the two things. So he dropped a bunker buster in the grocery holiday. Ew, Roger. TMI, bro. Big JR says they think the underground facility is 300 feet. Bunker buster penetrates 200 feet and detonates. They send more down the same hole with GPS. Yeah, so what I heard is that, or what I've read, that the bunker busters, they'd send down at least 2, maybe 3, to finally get all the way in there. And once it's blown open, Israel would follow up by going within and making sure everything's done. They would do the cleanup and make sure the job's finished. But the bunker busters would be what blows it open. That's what I heard, and it makes sense. I don't think Trump will hold him over, Alan. I don't think he'll hold over that general, because Trump doesn't like the generals that are warmongers. He doesn't like neocons. I think he's waiting him out to get him out. I don't think he's going to hold him over. Trump really does not appreciate people who want war. And by that, the guy on Bannon right there, what he was saying is that this guy has wanted Iran for a long time. And so that makes me think that he's a neocon, and Trump won't hold him over at all. So Tokram says Trump almost always gives people some time to do the right thing before he drops a hammer. That's 100% true. Yep, Ficus, it is possible they do some this weekend, but I think they're going to give him more time. I really do. We thought there'd be an attack already. Most people did anyways, and he's held off. And I got to say, the last couple of days, Trump has been extremely relaxed. Also, this is telling. Trump had Bannon at the White House today for lunch. Bannon famously he's not a pacifist, but he's anti our forever wars getting involved again. This means Trump let Bannon back in the inner circle. He invited Bannon in. The timing is not coincidental. He's picking Bannon's brain. Trump respects Bannon. Bannon is the reason Trump got elected the first time. He was his strategist, campaign strategist, brilliant. Bannon helped Trump form a lot of his populist opinions in politics already. It's not like Trump wasn't populist already. It's not like he did all right. Trump's a genius, okay? But Bannon helped, and Bannon was there. And this shows that they're on good terms. They're speaking, and I guarantee you Trump wanted to hear what Bannon had to break down for this whole Iran situation, which means, to me, even more likely that we find either a completely peaceful way out of it, or at least if we attack it, it's a quick way out. So that's going on. And MJ True shared this today. So just a reminder, because getting banned, first of all, I don't know if everybody understands how important Bannon is to this movement. He is, if Trump is the leader, if Trump's the front runner, the tip of the spear, Bannon's the mastermind behind the scenes. Not that Trump it's not like Bush and what's his face, Karl Rove, where Karl Rove basically did all the strategy. No, Trump leads with his gut, but Bannon has really set up a lot of stuff, and Bannon is one of the true believers. He's one of the most consistent. It loves America, and he's been doing the work. All right, and I fully appreciate this man, and so it's important to realize what Bannon's been doing, because what Trump's accomplishing has a lot to do with him, and it's more encompassing because of Bannon than it would have been otherwise. And here is just something that a great post today. People have no idea what President Trump, by the grace of God, saved us from. I truly believe they're planning on killing millions or billions worldwide. This is MJ Truth. And he says, 2021, January 27th, 7 days in Biden. Biden signed an executive order under the guise of climate change to conserve 30% of U.S. lands and waters by 2030. Federalize 30% of our land and water. It's wild. The U.S. right now owns 28% of our land. That means by 2030, U.S. government would have somehow claimed an additional 2% of all land. That's 2.3 billion acres. How would they have done this? Climate change, weather warfare, wildfires, hurricanes, natural disasters. Isn't that interesting? Fires in Miami, fires in LA, natural disasters, hurricanes in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida. Funny how that all worked out, after this. Eminent domain, World Economic Forum, United Nations. They've predicted by 2030, 1 billion people displaced by climate change. Bring in the illegal aliens. UN has the same goal, 30 by 30, conserve 30% of all land and water in the world by 2030. But thankfully, the actions were completely revoked via executive orders, both signed by Trump. Trump may have stopped it. Doesn't mean it's over. We got to continue to fight. But here's the receipts on that. But this is a big deal, because right now there are Trump's trying to sell federal land, okay, to make money back. Says to those freaking out, President Trump selling federal land to build housing. Just know this direct reversal of the 2030 agenda. Less federal land is good. There's literally a globalist plan to seize the 30% of all land, and just what I showed you guys. But through the Sustains Act, signed into law, a huge omnibus rushed through last year, allows the U.S. government to receive private funds to advance conservation programs, one of the biggest private-public partnerships in history. They were trying to take everything from us, guys. And if we'd gotten Kamala in, just think how much more advanced this would be. How much more they'd be pushing this through. 2030 was their goal. Now Trump gets us to 2028, hopefully more, with Vance after, which I believe will happen. And I'm going to show you a big reason why it's looking better by the day here in a little bit. But it's just wild how, the conspiracy theorists keep getting proven right over and over and over again. This kind of stuff is so just egregious. They were trying to just take our land from us. And when the founding fathers created the US, created America, their big thing was that a man should be able to own their land. And that's what makes you your own king. You're, the king of your own life. That is what private property is all about. Private property is like one of the biggest parts of being the United States, being free. And they are trying to take that away from us in a bigger push than ever before. And now Trump is trying to give it back. So when you hear all this talk, because this is going to be a big fight in the next year. I'm predicting it right now. You guys watch. It's going to be a big fight in Congress and through the media about selling federal land back to the people. Trump's going to use it to get down the debt, bring revenue in. He's going to have all these good reasons for it. However, they are going to fight. And they're going to come back and say, oh, those are national parks. Those are this. That's what we're going to hear from them. They're going to come up with every excuse in the book why it's horrible that Trump is trying to sell federal land. They own 28% of our land already, guys. The United States is huge. We are one of the largest countries in the world by land mass. Not to mention, we're the fourth biggest country in the world by population. But we also are one of the biggest by land mass. So for the federal government to own 28%, it's insane. And that's thievery. That's stealing from us. And I'm a fan of the national parks. That 28% is not the national parks. That's not the national parks. I bet if you took all the national parks, they'd come under 10%. So, and I'm okay with that. We can have some national parks. Listen, I grew up near Yosemite. I'm fully okay with that land being protected. I love that. I would not want private people to come in and ruin it. But private property, for the most part, the people should control well over 90%. And if we just have the other stuff for, for some parks here and there, that's fine. But that's not what this is about. This is so much more egregious than that. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, Toe Cramp says, U.S. owning our land is unconstitutional. Yeah, it is. Alan says they've been claiming our wetlands in Iowa, our farmland. Exactly. They have, because, well, and not just that, it's worse than that too. Not only have they been stealing our farmland, all this valuable land from the people, they've also been selling a bunch of land to places like China, or Bill Gates owns several 100,000 acres of farmland. It's everything is to try to get it away from the people. And so even though the feds don't have all of it, they've also sold a lot to corporations and to other countries so that we, the people, aren't free. But they're, this is part of what Trump's saving us from, guys. It's turning into the show Yellowstone with land. That could be all of us. Well, if that was if Kamala had gotten in, there would be a lot of that going on. People defending their lands. Brett says, I hope Maxine Waters' house on the list of properties for sale. You can restore back to Sanford Son junkyard. Maxie can be real life Ann Esther. I love it. Uncle Andy says, where was it? The ranchers had a big protest a few years ago against the government in land. Yeah, it was in Nevada. They were, a guy was fighting and standing up against the feds coming on his land. Here's a great post from Bam, and he shared it because of this video, which I'm not going to play. It's 13 minutes. I did share it. Well worth watching. This woman breaks down what's going on with the G7, why Trump left, and it's an incredible video. This woman's very smart. I agree with pretty much everything she said in it, just telling what's really going on here. She really breaks down the whole globalist aspect that I'm always talking about, how they're really the enemies, not Israel and other places like it, although that's all complicated. But anyway, she breaks it down really well. But Bam gives this in this post. He says, President Trump understands the old world order needs enemies to survive. And that's why he's always pushing towards negotiations instead. It's so true. You've got to have the enemies so they can keep drumming up the war machine whenever they need more power and more money. Problem is the globalists. It's always been the globalists. Their families never spill blood. True. And their treasure stacks always grow. Also true. President Trump has my trust until he breaks it. As long as there aren't boots on the ground, okay with actual shock and off, it can change the present slow walk towards disaster. It has more to do with the bigger picture problem of the perpetual, never-ending caliphate supported and stoked by globalists in the skirmish of the month. Exactly. That is 100% true. And the more this comes out, guys, the more we're going to keep seeing it. And this is where we are starting to get more and more confirmation of the what's going on with this whole war against the globalists, and that the conspiracy theorists believe. Trump did something crazy today. Shared by MJ Truth. Trust the plan. Iran next. Hunters became the hunters. I don't know if you guys watched the other day when Trump put up the flagpoles but he told the reporter, he said, I used to be the hunted. You guys were coming after me. I was the hunted. He said, but now I'm the hunter. And he was smiling, and it was very interesting. Well, look what he just posted. Trust the plan. I was the hunted. Now I'm the hunter. Nothing can stop what is coming, he says. Well, these are all posts from Q 4, 5, 6 years ago. Iran next, which that's crazy because that was posted exactly, what was it, 7 years ago? Toe Cramp would know. Trust the plan. Do you believe in coincidences? Hunters become the hunted. Nothing can stop what is coming. And Trump's reposting this stuff now. Now, could it be a troll? Maybe. It could. He could be messing with people. But do you imagine if that's true, the memory he has to have to be throwing all this stuff out here, these confirmations and stuff? It's pretty crazy, guys. It's pretty crazy. Stephen Cromer says, I bet Gates bought that land with USAID money. He might have. Wait till you see what's happening with the USAID money driving up. Lochtefeld says, pass a law forcing China to divest from the USA land ownership, same as USA citizens can't own land in China. I agree with you. I don't think, I would go further. I would say that anybody who's not a US citizen cannot own American land. I think that's how it should be. I don't think any foreign person can come in here and own land. I don't care if it's a corporation, a billionaire, a regular person. I think you have to, if you want to own American land, you better be American. That's how I see it. It's the only way we can make sure that land is, and it's even then it's not 100%, but it's the best way to make sure our land is being used for reasons that are, either leave them alone, that's fine, but not harmful to the American people. So, JR, who's crazy? All right, let's look at this. This is more of Trump's impact right now in just the first 5 months. 2 new studies estimate we're seeing 5 to 10 self-deportations for every formal deportation. That comes to 500,000 to 1 million self-deportations in just 4 months. Well, the report I saw, it said 1 million, but the key is cutting off the money illegal employers and government handouts. That's that USAID money going away. That's cracking down on employers, but it's working. Trump's plan, he offered money to leave. It's working. The self-deportation is working better than the deportations. And you still have to have the forceful ones, especially for the criminals, especially for the people who don't think this is serious. You have to have those. But this, I guarantee you, as more and more raids happen, as this becomes a bigger deal, and it's on TV more, and the illegal immigrants are more and more afraid, like they actually will come for us, the self-deportations will ramp up as well. This is massive, and this is the reason why wages increased the most in May, April through May, I believe it was. The biggest increase in wages in a time period like that in 60 years. Why? Because the slave labor is leaving, which it's not the only reason they want them here, but it's one of the main reasons. Meanwhile, while that is going on, this is more proof that the illegal immigration is a big deal for them. And look at this. Antifa attacked ICE detention facility in Oregon, shooting fireworks at federal. All right. Nick Sorter shares. Democrat Party is almost out of cash and could need to borrow money just to keep the lights on soon. This is in the New York Times. Listen, there's a massive story in the New York Times today. I actually read the New York Times for once. I never read the New York Times, but this story was just too good. They have a major cash flow problem at the DNC. They are considering borrowing money for the first time in 25 years. It's so bad. They have something like 17 million on hand, and versus the Republicans who have something like 75 million on hand. It is wild. All fundraising is dried up. And guess what else? It's no coincidence that a lot of money dried up with USAID gone. And he says, you mean Americans don't want to give money to a party who assaults ICE agents and fights for illegals? I mean, 100%. But I wanted to show you guys something very interesting I discovered as I read that article, and I went to look at this. So the new DNC chair started a, where is it? Give me a second here. So this is hilarious. So here's the Democrats' official YouTube channel, okay, from the DNC. We are the Democratic Party. And he created, the new DNC chair, this daily blueprint. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this show to get it going and have this awesome YouTube show for Democrats and people to watch and grow. Look at the views they're getting. Today's show, 530 views. Yesterday's show, 1,500 views. 2 days ago, 1,200. 3 days ago, 950. 6 days ago, 1,100. Guys, my little show with no money behind it, completely made organically from scratch. You guys saw me used to walk in parks talking to you. I mean, my show averages double the views, almost double the views, and in some case triple the views of the actual Democratic Party's new hit show that they spent a bunch of money on. Now, if that doesn't tell you they're in trouble, I don't know what will. I don't know what will. That is insane. That is insane. There is no interest for their party at all. And that just shows you what a terrible place they're in. And it makes you wonder, money from Ukraine dries up, money from USA dries up, and there's no money for them. So they are in so much trouble. So when you guys see a bad poll for Trump, maybe, or Democrats rejoicing because something actually, happened that makes Trump look bad, just remember what I'm showing you guys behind the scenes. They're completely broke as a party, and there's no one who's going towards them right now. So when we come to the midterms, and everybody's talking about what problems Republicans are going to be in, how it's a wave election, and presidents always lose their majorities in their midterms. Well, just remember this: that as bad as Republicans are doing, who is voting for Democrats right now? There's no energy on that side at all, and there's no money to push it. This is insane, guys. This is insane. Telcram says, I bet their channel doesn't get demonetized, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, not like my show where the last 6 out of the last 7 videos were demonetized, which is always fun. Yeah, exactly, Steve Cromer. They have no money for the midterms. There will be money that starts to come in towards the elections, but the Republicans already have such a head start on them. It's just looking more and more that, like, as long as Trump gets this bill passed and we don't get it stuck in a war, I'm telling you, we're going to add senators and to the House. And we're going to add more MAGA people too. We're weeding out John Cornyn right now, old school Rhino Republican in Texas. He is being primaried right now in Texas by Ken Paxton, who's the hardcore attorney general, full MAGA, being primaried by him. And guess what? He's losing by 20 percentage points. So Ken Paxton will be the next senator from Texas replacing Cornyn. That's the kind of stuff that's going to happen in the next midterms. We're going to get a much stronger Congress. So things, all of this is trending in the right direction. So this is why, the numbers don't lie, guys, except for when they do. And I've showed you guys before how to tell when a YouTube channel is lying about its numbers. But when they're this low, they're not lying. because they're not pumping these numbers up. And if they are, oh my God, it's not hard to pump up 1,000 views. The numbers tell you where the real problems are. The money tells you. So, all right, let's keep moving here. This made me so happy. Government jobs falling. 22,000 federal government jobs lost in May, the most in 4 years. We are cutting down that government, guys. 4th consecutive monthly decline. Ever since Trump is in, the federal government has been shedding jobs every month. Year to date, federal government jobs have declined by 59,000. Lowest since November 24. Now, that's crazy. Think about this. 2.96 million, so almost 3 million federal employees. Trump has cut 60,000, and that's only the lowest since November of this election, the last election, which means that after that election, Biden and them hired at least 60,000 new people from between the election and Trump's inauguration. That is insane. The average from when before COVID, the end of Obama through to COVID, 2.8 million. So we still need to get rid of 160,000 more federal jobs just to get to where we were pre-COVID. According to Reuters estimates, over 260,000 federal workers have been fired, taken buyouts, or retired early this year. Federal workforce is shrinking, but this is just, it makes me happy. Makes me happy. This is beautiful. So we're selling federal land. We're cutting those jobs, and we're illegals are self-deporting, and everybody's like, Trump's not doing anything. Are you kidding me? This is how we get our country back. This is the big stuff that really matters. And yes, all the other stuff matters too. We want to see all the justice, all that, but this is the big stuff. Can you think of the impact? This has been 4 months, and this is just a trend now. This is a locked-in trend after 4 months. Imagine what's going to happen after 48 months. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Tokram says, welcome to McDonald's. My name's Blake. I used to have a federal job. Could take your order. Mike Mishler says, I'm telling you, there will be no war. We'll either have a deal or Iran loses their capabilities. Saying it for a week. I completely agree with you. We're not going to get stuck in a war. I totally believe in you. Or agree with you. Cass Sink says, JD Vance trolled the Dems, open blue sky. Yes, we covered that in the members live last night. Trolled them, got banned in 17 minutes. This is just too funny, man. Just too funny. Uncle Andy says, wait until David Hogg starts supporting Trump and the devil. That'll never happen. And you know why it won't happen? Because he makes his money. He makes his money shilling for the Democrats. And he's not going to give up his money. It's all about the money. Wicked says, Democrats blew $2 billion on Kamala, and now they only have 17 million left. Exactly. That was the worst investment ever. Oh, thank you, Brett. Please subscribe. I appreciate it, guys. If you like the content enough and you want more, consider joining the membership. $5 on Patreon will get you all the members' lives and immediate Discord access 24/7. The link is in the description. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you for that. And thank you for supporting the channel. Like I said, most of my videos now are getting demonetized. So the membership is literally the only thing that supports this channel at this point. So greatly appreciated to all you members. We had a great members live last night too. It was fun. Okay. Now, this is interesting considering what we were talking about earlier with Trump maybe trying to do a strike over the weekend. Look at this. Tomorrow is the largest options expiration in history. 7 trillion options expire tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern. That is nuts. 7 trillion in options. Largest OPEX in history. Once June 20th, quad witching OPEX is complete. The market becomes unpinned, free to move. What happens next? I believe, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we don't have another options expiration until August after this. So that's 2 months. 2 months where we could see the market get a little crazy. And I'm telling you right now, the market did not like that Powell did not lower rates. The market knows it's time. You have what's going on in you have what's going on in Iran. If that drags out a little longer, if oil spikes because they shut the Hormuz, where all the oil travels through, and energy prices spike, it could get crazy fast, guys. So just be ready for anything in the markets. Jeff Chapman, what is up, my friend? It has been way too long. How are you, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. I missed you, man. All right, let's keep going. So remember I talked about the Genius Act the other day? Well, now we have Dario, and I was shocked that the Genius Act passed the Senate and it didn't move crypto at all. Well, Dario agrees with me that once the House passes the Genius Act, it'll mark the beginning of a next significant bull run in crypto Web3. I expect the move not to last long, maybe just a summer, but to be a sharp repricing of the whole space, aligning it with valuation metrics of all asset classes greatly inflated, la, 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 la. Anyways, he says it all, talking about crypto, all and asset classes inflated. It will all eventually fall apart 1929 style and across the board. But in the meantime, there's still opportunities to make haze till the sun shines. So expect a crypto boom that could last a couple months, which would be excellent. And if you're going to be trading, you might be able to trade on X soon. X will soon launch investing and trading directly within the app. So X is going to form a brokerage. That's kind of exciting. And think about this. CEO Linda Yaccarino says you'll be able to come to X, be able to transact your whole financial life on the platform. They want to be the future of finance. Now, think about why. Why would you want to trust X with your trading? I mean, at first, it's probably going to have some glitches. It'd be a while till I fully trusted it. However, Elon hates the hedge funds. They've been shorting and naked shorting, manipulating Tesla for years. Tesla is one of the highest naked shorted stocks that's ever existed, maybe the highest. He hates them. He's come out about it. He's spoken about this. So if you have a brokerage that's as big as X, and I'm telling you right now, millions of people will use X eventually for this. It'll start with thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, but over time, millions. It'll be just like when Robinhood first launched, because so many people already hang out on X that it'll be a big hit. And so if he's settling trades, if that as a brokerage, it's going to cause chaos in the markets. This is going to be massive, in my opinion. I think this will really change things, or else it's going to just cause a lot of volatility. But you better believe I'm going to at least put a little bit of money on X to trade it at first, see how it works. But if it's working, man, I'd happily use X over most of the brokers out there. So I love Elon's ambition. Just another step to becoming the everything app that's in Elon's dreams. So it's pretty cool. Rumdog says the best broker to buy XRP. I don't know, but I have a feeling that X, if Elon goes through with this, it won't only be stock market, it'll be crypto as well. Alan says July has no options due to a funky July. So there you go. After this options expiration, there's 2 months until another options expiration. That's going to be fancy. It also means there's also not another Fed meeting until August. So hopefully by then we start getting some rate cuts and then see what happens. I think the summer is going to get very interesting in the markets. BAM's model is showing major retests up in oil because of all the volatility going on in the Middle East. If oil moves up over 100 and starts touching, say, 120, not only will our gas prices go up, but it will affect the Japan carry trade. If that happens and the carry trade starts unwinding, massive volatility comes into the markets and we could have our crash. So be ready for anything. As always, be ready for anything. Brett says that would be sick. Be able to buy Franzia, Model Glue, and some IBM shares all in the same place. You got it all figured out, man. What's up, John Crisson? Roger says every Tesla vehicle collects 4 terabytes of information on the driver every year. They sell this information for huge profits. I believe it. Just like Facebook, Google, they all sell our info all the time. Alan says, don't think I want to trade crypto on a fluid system being on anything electric. Don't trust the grid. Well, that's a good point. Keep it in a cold wallet and just trade it when you want. Candace says, Butcher put something out saying Robinhood caught naked shorting and taking away the buy button. There has been a story on that. Yeah, I don't have it up tonight, but yeah, Robinhood did get in trouble. All right, last couple things I want to cover here before we go tonight. This is new study came out. Look at this. Why are conservatives so much happier than liberals? They don't know why, but this is pretty crazy data. Overall, 53% of liberals claim to be happy. 68% conservatives do. That's a 15-point gap. That's massive. Men, 56 to 69%. Women, 51 to 66. It doesn't matter. Sex doesn't matter as far as happiness. Race. This is interesting. 52% of white liberals are happy. 68% of conservatives. 60% of black liberals. The blacks are happy, happier either way, basically. But Hispanic, huge gap. Asian, huge gap. And any mixed race, huge gap. Gen Z is the unhappiest if they're liberal, 40%, whereas 50%. So this also tells you they're the unhappiest of all the generations. Millennial, huge gap, 13 points. Gen X, 10 points. Silent generation, the boomers. 64, they're still pretty happy because they're old school liberals. They're just happy in general, to 73. And then by education, it's just, well, I'm not going to read them all anymore, but you could see postgraduate, the biggest difference, 75% happy if you're conservative. So it's pretty crazy. Obviously, I think it's, if you have what I believe, if truth on your side and common sense, it goes a long way to making you a lot happier. Roger says conservatives know what a woman is. I don't know the answer to that, Moody. I would ask the Discord, Moody. Get in the Discord and ask about that stuff. What was that on, Clanny? Do I think if Elon never bought Twitter, everything would be totally different? It's hard to say. I do think that Elon buying Twitter was one of the most important things that's happened in modern times. I really do. But there was a lot of information being traded and on places like Telegram. Now, nowhere near the impact of X. I do think that things were bad enough under Biden that Trump still would have had a good shot of winning the election, but it would not have been by as much. It would have been much, much closer. But yeah, I think Elon buying Twitter is one of the main catalysts for why we won, for sure, and why we got our country back. Because what Elon did when he bought X or Twitter and then made it X, what he did is he made it so no longer were the people telling the truth, calling out the media, sharing the stuff they don't want you to know. No longer were those people pushed off to the side and hiding in the shadows. No longer did you have to be coded. All of a sudden, it was like you can blast it out there. And the thing with X that not everybody understands is that the algorithm of X and the way they've designed it, everything on X travels faster. Information on X travels faster than anywhere else. It's so simple to read something, repost it, share your thoughts on it. It's meant for interaction quickly and meant for sharing information quickly. It's designed that way. It's brilliant. No other platform comes close to the information sharing. And so by him buying that, it made it so that, because if stuff was hiding in the shadows, say people were sharing stuff on Telegram, that might eventually come out, but it took longer because you had to go dig it up, and it's much harder to share, and so on and so forth. Whereas on X, it's instantaneous. So him taking over X made it so truth and other opinions and breaking through the narrative nonsense of the media and the Democrats made it so instantaneously we actually knew the truth. Like Trump's assassination attempt was a great example. On that day when he was shot, the newspapers and the media started putting up all these wild headlines that none of them admitted he was shot. But if you were on X, you saw it happen in real time. You saw people sharing the clips in real time immediately before everybody else could even do it. So it just, because you can break through and get the truth so quick. I mean, I see stuff on X, it's, as a story from sources I trust. And then an hour or two later, there's a story written about it. Just the old news, websites and newspapers, everything moves so slow. Or even when they reported on, say, Fox News or something, they still put that segment together. They got to get everything in order. But on X, it's just like, boom, heard this, pass it, boom, done. It's changed. It's changed the world on how fast news travels. And that's important, because now that the news travels faster than the headlines, the headlines don't control the narrative anymore. And so it's incredible. Toad says, I don't think Elon was acting alone when he bought Twitter as part of the plan. Paper he paid for it, but still highest paid military contractor. I think you might, that's absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. Anybody on Blue Sky to spy on the other side? Good luck getting on Blue Sky. You won't last. Wicked EMS says Elon went MAGA, helped seal the deal. Yeah, and reinstating accounts, all that stuff for sure. Patrice says Bitcoin ATM machines are popping up all over your town. It's becoming implemented. Many people are picking it up. Romdog says when 47 got shot at that restaurant, ESPN didn't even change the cover. Yeah, there you go. See, how crazy is that to think that the leading presidential candidate got shot and they couldn't even interrupt sports to give you a 3-minute update. That's insane. That is not what our country used to be. So craziest stuff, man. Last thing I wanted to share was this, because this just is something that is dear to my heart and this channel. So a new study at the University of Missouri said hope is the key to a meaningful life, according to new research. Hope isn't just wishful thinking, it's a powerful emotional force that gives our lives meaning. This study from University of Missouri shows it may be even more essential to well-being than happiness or gratitude. Why am I sharing this? Because I've had several people over the last few years tell me that they're so grateful that I stayed hopeful in hard times, or that, it motivated them. It gave them hope. Some people have questioned me. How do you stay so helpful? Why are you always optimistic? This is it, man. And it's not just me, it's Jesus. But I made it a point in my life to make hope one of my goals, to always, believe for the best, believe the best will happen. And The more they study this, how important it is. And it just, just goes to show, guys, that there's a reason. There's a reason the Bible's full of like hoping and how important it is. And there's a reason I'm always looking for the silver lining in everything and how things can turn out for the better. Uh, because not only do I believe that it's better for my mental health, but also because I do believe the more people hope and the more they have expectancy and push towards things, they're motivated more, they spur on more to action, and that creates better outcomes over time. It just keeps adding up. There's a reason why Trump is always speaking positive and hopeful. It says hope as a meaningful emotion, hope, positive effect, and meaning of life, published in the journal Emotion. Our research shifts the perspective on hope from merely a cognitive process related to goal attainment to recognize it as a vital emotional experience that enriches life's meaning. This insight opens new avenues for enhancing psychological well-being. Why do you think people have been so miserable for so long and in our country growing in anxiety and stuff? It's because they've lost hope. They've lost hope. And it has, a lot of it's just been, I'm not going to read the whole thing. As you guys can see, it's very long, but in other words, it will always be a key component here. I feel like whether it's fighting the shorts, winning, in the markets so that we can overcome financial corruption and hopefully make money doing so, and being rewarded for our fight, whether it's what's going to happen in the U.S. as we get better, truly see a golden age coming, whether it's avoiding war in Iran, whatever it is, hope is the centerpiece of this channel, and it always will be. And so, and people call me naive, all this stuff, and that's totally fine. I don't think I'm naive. I think I know what's going on. But when you believe in God and Jesus, and you believe the word that says he's making all things new, that the increase of his government has no end, which is in Isaiah, it's really impossible, if you believe what the Bible says, to ever be hopeless. And I do. And so no matter what happens, I believe we're always going to go towards a better place. Brett says 76 likes. Hey guys, yeah, if you don't mind, take 1 second. There's a few hundred people watching across all platforms, about 155 on YouTube. If you don't mind, just hit that like real quick. Let's help me break out this video. Maybe get out of shadow bans. Remember, I just said they've demonetized 6 of my last 7 videos. So any spread is welcome. They definitely don't like my channel very much. Butter says, at times in my life, hope was all I had. I found a relationship with God with strength in my hope. Amen, Butter. Brett says, I'm surprised Kamal hasn't started her own crypto. They could call it Burden Coin. Burden Coin? I like that. Roger says, Franzia Coin. I love it. That's so good. David versus Goliath. Absolutely. Drew says, have you heard Butcher of Wall Street's creating his own lit exchange? No, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Alan says, Bitcoin will never be a monetary system. I don't know if it'll be a monetary system. I think it will be, well, it already is a usable currency in many places. And I do think that will continue to grow. There's just too many people who love it and are proponents of it. Too many powerful people for it to go away. So Burning Coin coming to a cold wall near you. I love it, Brett. You crack me up, man. All right, guys, on that note, listen, love you guys. This weekend, who knows what's coming. I will be on if news gets crazy. If not, I'll take time off, take the weekend off. So I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Tomorrow could be interesting with quad witching and with the Iran stuff. So let's just pray, keep praying. The prayers are working. First of all, prayers are working because Trump has been very wise in this season. He's been patient. He got through the pressure of the neocons in Israel when the attacks first started, unlike any president ever has before. And so the prayers work, guys. Prayers work. Trump is acting in wisdom. He's acting patiently. And he's also bold because he's standing up to pressure. So it's incredible to watch. So that's why we pray, and we're going to keep praying every night before we go. But before you leave, please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. And let's end in a prayer, because we definitely need them. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God, we pray for wisdom for Trump and our leaders. Pray for protection over them as well, Father, and protection for our nation during this crazy time. I pray that there's anything like terror cells in our nation, anything like that, that they are caught and busted well before they could harm anybody. We just pray that in Jesus' name right now. And Lord, I pray that the situation in Iran goes the best way possible, with no civilian casualties, innocent casualties, or as little as absolutely possible. And I pray that the people of Iran, God, would rise up, take back their country, and become the country they deserve to be for their people, and not the oppressive regime it is now. I pray for that. And Lord, we pray for peace in the Middle East. We pray for peace in Ukraine, that Trump can find a way to end all these wars and while making America safer. And also, God, thank you for all that's happening that is good. Pray that continues. Pray that, Lord, just going forward, you just continue to bless our nation, bring justice to it, and reward everybody who's fought so hard and so long, whether it's for themselves, their families, their country, whatever it is. I just pray that everybody fighting the righteous battles, Lord, do see a reward soon, because it's been a long, hard, several decades for many people. And I just pray that darkness, those hard times are starting to pass, and we can truly enter into a golden age for everybody in America who deserves it. So pray that, Lord, in Jesus' name, bless everybody here. Amen. All right. Love you guys. Again, please like on the way out. Love you all. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Good night.